Hello, my name is Matthew Pfeiffer with mattpfeiffercoaching.com. Welcome to my YouTube channel. On this channel, I create videos and content about toxic, narcissistically abusive relationships. And if you have a question that you want me to answer on this channel, make sure you send it to justaskmatt@mattpfeiffercoaching.com. Again, that is justaskmatt@mattpfeiffercoaching.com. Just make sure you keep that email 2 to 3 paragraphs max. If it's too long, if it's too lengthy, unfortunately, I will not be able to get to it. Also, make sure you hit the subscribe notification and the bell notification so you're notified each and every time I upload a new video. I upload new videos on this channel 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. And this video and this channel is sponsored by BetterHelp. If you need more help than what this video can provide, make sure you go to the links down below. You can connect with a BetterHelp therapist. You can get in a lot faster because it's online. It's also a lot more affordable. And because you follow my channel, you'll also get 15% off your first month of BetterHelp, and it's already very affordable. So take full advantage of that. All of the links for that are down below. With all that being said, let's get into today's email. Today's email comes from a person who is struggling with getting their parenting narcissist to pay for oral surgery for their son. And they're asking me if they should continue to press this person for the funds. And this can be very tricky. And a lot of people struggle with this. So let's get into this email. Let's see if we can help this person out and in turn help out some other people who might be in similar situations. So this email reads, "Hi, Matt. I finalized my divorce to a narcissist ex this last February." So very good job. Good for you for leaving and taking the courage and the bravery in leaving. And it continues, "He pays spousal support and child support through the state. And one thing I want to say about this is for those of you who have gone through a divorce or are going through a divorce, make sure that if you do have anything and this person is narcissistic, that all child support, everything goes through the state. A lot of times they'll try to convince you to pay it out of pocket directly, but you'll never see it, right? And you'll constantly be fighting for it. So make sure that it's all going through the state. Our middle child turned 18 in January and graduated in June this year. The father is no longer obligated to support. So this is a key point to this. He's no longer obligated to support. Our son needs oral surgery to the tune of $3,500 this August. When I first told his father about it, he said he would help with the cost and would save money for it. And I sent him the statement to let him know the final bill and when it was due. He texted back and said that he's not on his feet right now. In other words, he is staying true to his character by leaving breadcrumbs that he would help and then taking it back. My attorney says because our son is an adult now, I have no legal enforcement of the shared cost. I'm hoping you have some advice. I will pay the whole bill for my son, but I really think his father should help. Thank you in advance." So one of the things that we have to understand is that, just like you said in this email, he has no obligation and there's no enforcement. So you can ask, and you can even ask for part of it. And that's all you can do. One of the things that happens in situations like this is that, yes, it would be nice for him to help out. It is his son and those sorts of things, but we can't make anyone do anything. I don't care if they're a narcissist or not. And without you being able to enforce this legally, because he's under no legal obligation to do this, right? We have to one of the things that we have to understand about narcissists, and this is the reason why I tell, and I've said from the beginning for multiple years on social media at this point, that we can't go into court, preaching they're a narcissist, this and that. And oftentimes we think that is going to get the court system to do something, and it does not. And here's the reason why. Because even a narcissist has rights. We don't have to like it, but the reality of it is that even someone who has narcissistic, even if they were diagnosed, I don't care if they're diagnosed or not, they still have rights. And so now he is off the hook. And so the most that you can do is you can ask him for it, but I would not harass him for it. Because the reality of it is that he is under no obligation and you can't enforce it. And so at some point in time, we have to understand that now that your son is 18, now guess what? we actually need to start having some more difficult conversations and set into a little bit more of a reality. This is actually your son's responsibility. And so if you want to talk to your son about starting to get a job and to start, and obviously you may not want your son to pay for $3,500, but right, this is a time and an opportunity as a parent to now teach your son some very difficult lessons about the world, about financing, and about taking care of his own health and his own insurance. Right now, it's time to transition. And what happens through this process is that oftentimes your son is going to start to see who his parent and who his dad in this type of situation really, really is. And sometimes that can be very difficult because that means that we have to now start to empower our children. A lot of people don't like doing that because we keep them under our wing. The reality of it is that your son is 18 now, right? And he's not going to be 18 forever. This is a great opportunity for us to start teaching him some skills in terms of taking care of taking care of himself, that sort of thing. But in terms of the dad, and in terms of the father, if he's not under no obligation, you would be wasting even if you could take him to court. Let's pretend for a second that your son was still of an age where he was held responsible in court. For a lot of times people, when they can take someone to court, take the narcissist back to court for something like this, but should you? For $3,500, and then you think about the cost that it would cost to get a lawyer, and then even at that, it's still difficult to get the person to pay, even if there was an order in place for them to pay you back. All of a sudden, you have to ask yourself, is it really worth it? Right? For some people, maybe it is, and certain dynamics, maybe it is. However, we have to understand that in situations like this, sometimes we just have to. Sometimes we have to eat it, right? And sometimes that's very uncomfortable, right? And a lot of parents deal with this when it's 50-50 and one parent is burdening the responsibility of all of the extracurricular activities. That's something else that's very common in these type of situations. And they ask me a lot of times, should they take them to court? Are you really going to take the narcissist to court over a couple $100, right? When we have the cost of court, the cost of lawyers, right? At some point in time, we have to understand that we need to do what we need to do for our children, and understand that we're not getting as much help from the other side. And sometimes even when we are getting that help from the other side, a lot of times in a lot of situations, it's not worth it. It's not worth pulling the teeth. It's not worth the dialogue. It's not worth the extra communication that we have with them. So ultimately, in each situation, we have to wonder and we have to ask ourselves, what's the actual cost? In this situation, the risk is not worth the reward, and you're not likely going to get it because he is under no obligation. So thank you very much for writing in. Anyone else who has a question, make sure you send it to justaskmatt@mattpfeiffercoaching.com. Again, that is justaskmatt@mattpfeiffercoaching.com. So make sure you keep that email 2 to 3 paragraphs max. Be very direct and to the point of what your question actually is. And if it's too long, if it's too lengthy, unfortunately, I will not be able to get to it. Again, if you need more help than what this video can provide, make sure you go to the links down below, connect with a therapist through help. You'll get 15% off because you watch my channel. With all that being said, thank you very much, and I will see you in the next video. Have a good night.